Solar 3.0 is finally here, and with that come 3 new Eververse armor sets based off of the subclass. And in today's video, I'm here to help you make the decision on whether or not to spend your hard-earned money or Bright Dust on this armor. And don't you just hate how you can't preview the shaders in the Eververse store? Well, I got you covered. If you want to know what these armor sets look like with your favorite shaders, I made a whole separate video on that. You can go ahead and click on the top right corner, or there will be a link down below to that video. So first of all, let me save you some money and let me tell you ahead of time when you can expect these armor sets to be available for Bright Dust. Your arms will be available the week of June 7th. The legs will be available the week of June 14th. Your class items will be available the week of June 21st. The helmets will be available the week of July 12th. And finally, the chest armor will be available the week of August 16th. Don't really stress out too much about trying to remember the dates for these armor sets. You can always hit that like button and hit subscribe, because I will always tell you whenever cool things are available in the Eververse store via a YouTube short. Okay, so now I'm going to be showing you my fashion that I made with this armor, as well as viewer submitted fashion from my Discord server. That way you can start forming your opinion on the armor set. And if you don't care about the other classes armor set, you can go ahead and use the skip links that I've left for you down below. That way you can just skip to your favorite class. Okay, so here is my Titan, and I love the fact that Bungie gave us another night themed armor set. If you have been following me for a while now, you know that I like that art direction for Destiny, and I'm glad we got it here. So if I were to recommend 2 pieces of armor to prioritize if you have limited Bright Dust, I would recommend getting the arms and the helmet, just because those are the 2 pieces that I saw my Discord server use the most whenever I was looking through all of the submissions. And second of all, this helmet is freaking badass. I wish that we could shade the solar effect, but hey, I'll take what I can get, especially if what I can get looks like this. So for my set, I decided to go with the Gauntlets of Exile because I wanted something big and bulky for this set. Because the helmet is so menacing, I wanted the Titan to just be larger than life. And for the chest plate, I ended up using the Devastation Complex because it does have the feathers on the side, and that really helps fill in the gap between the pauldrons and the helmet. For the legs, I used the Solar 3.0 set, the Radiant Breaker, of course, because I wanted to keep to that night theme. And we did need a little bit more glow to balance out the helmet. For the class item, I went with the Desolation Diver Mark. This is part of the Void 3.0 set, but it works here to match the medieval theme, and luckily we don't have any void effects coming off of it. For the shader, I originally wanted to go with a silver shader, but I ended up running into Tangled Rust, and I really like the fact that it made the armor look still silver, but it made it look battle worn, and that gave it a really cool effect. And honestly guys, I'm in love with this Titan. Let me know what you think about my armor in the comments below, and now let's check out my viewer submitted armor sets. Now first up we have Adriana, and I really like the use of Dark Water Froth here because that blue contrasts very well with the orange solar effects. Also, the whole entire set just fits together very well, and it's very Dark Souls like. Next up we have Machine, and I really like the use of Aposematism here because it allows him to have that orange color to make it seem like he has fire in more places without doing the obvious thing of having a bunch of solar effects on every single piece of armor. Next up we have How Do I Boil Water, showing off the new Trials helmet with this armor set, and I really like the way he tied everything together using Horizon Blush because the fire effects on the Solar 3.0 set really complement that brownish orange color. Finally, we have Fire Spartan, showing off what you can do with the combination of a Pyrrhic Ascent chestplate and a Radiant Breaker helm. It really makes the Titan look like he is a fire golem combined with that Omnichromia shader. So here is my hunter set that I came up with, and I decided to go with the helmet mainly because it was the coolest piece. And if you have a limited amount of Bright Dust, I would strongly prioritize the helmet and the legs because those were the easiest to work with. The cloak was also pretty cool, but it didn't work in every situation like these 2 pieces did. So for my arms, I decided to go with the Lux sleeves because I didn't want to go crazy overboard on the armor. I just wanted a little bit of red in there and a good amount of cloth. That way we matched the legs a little bit better. As for the shader, I decided to go with House of Mayrin just because it did add a nice red and nice like golden yellow color to some of the armor pieces, as you can see here on the arms, on the legs, and of course we have the solar glow on the eyes. So that matched a lot better with the golden gun at my hip. For the chest plate, I decided to go with the Insight Rover vest because whenever you are using a limited amount of armor and you don't want to go overboard with it, it's important to have some cloth. And from there, I just prioritized whatever looked best with the Lux cloak. Now, if you don't have the Lux cloak and you are a little bit of a newer player, the Couturier cloak also works with this if you still want to go for that hoodless look. And now let me go ahead and show you what my server made, and this one is going to be from Cosmic Volts, and then the other one is going to be from Absolute Dingus, and both of them made something similar to mine, but in my opinion way more badass. So Cosmic's Hunter is easily my favorite. This one looks a lot more sinister, this one looks a lot more battle worn, and he just looks like he can kill you without even taking a breath. This hunter would eat mine for breakfast. Now, if you've ever wanted to mix Ghost Rider with like a Western theme, this is your hunter. This looks super cool, and the way he described it was an Ahamkara hunter, and I believe it, man. This guy looks like he can take on anything. Very good choice of colors, lots of variety in armor and shaders. Next up we have Mezuka and their hunter, and they decided to use the Cloak of Bacchus mixed with the Resonant Fury set to make themselves look like a boss in Destiny 2. I could definitely see him being like a strike boss or something. Very good job. And finally, we have Cobalt taking advantage of Fortune Beast, the Tusk Alliance cloak, and the Dreaming Spectrum shader to put together this really badass hunter that looks like he will just hunt you down and take your bones for his armor. This is a really good use of Dreaming Spectrum. Good job, Cobalt. Okay, so this is my Warlock, and I actually really like the way the colors turned out on her, so let's go ahead and talk about it. As far as the Bright Dust items that I recommend you get, I feel like for Warlocks it's pretty obvious. You go for the robes and the helmet. If I were to recommend any other armor pieces, it would honestly just be the gloves, because they do have a cool little cuff and some fire coming out of it. If you have the extra Bright Dust and you're a Warlock main, I'd say you go for them. The legs and the bond, even though I did end up using the Dawnisinger bond, it's kind of forgettable, and I'm sure you can replace it for something else. For the helmet, I decided to go with the Solstice hood. This was from like year 2 of Solstice of Heroes. I could have gone with the Dawnisinger hood, which looks pretty freaking cool, but you guys would be writing a very long comment down below if I use this and the robes together. So Solstice hood it is. For the robes, I went with the Dawnisinger robes. By the way, these take shaders and colors really well, except for the solar effect, which I'm sure you guys know by now, you cannot shade. For the legs, these are a little bit of a surprise for you, but I have the Trials armor from this season already with me, and I will be making a video on this later, but I decided to use them early because they look really cool with my armor set. I like the way that they combine with the robes. And for the colors, I decided to go with the Plated Lupinous, and I thought that it gave me a nice like blue and bronze combination that I really liked. Now we do have a little bit of gold here on the helmet, but you really can't notice it with the shader that I have on. Again, let me know what you think about my set in the comments below, but now let's take a look at the Warlock submissions. First up, we have PF showing what you can do with the helmet and the gloves, and combining those with the Pyrrhic Ascent robes just kind of ties the whole entire package together, especially once you go flawless. Next up, we have Lord Eyepatch being an absolute fire god, rocking the Solstice robes and the Sun Bracers with the Dawnisinger set that puts together a very nice solar package that's also functional. So this next one from Fresh Dumb might be my favorite one because it incorporates the colors that are already there on the Dawnisinger robes, and he just kind of worked around that, and the new Trials helmet just looks super good with all of this fire. Man, I really wish Bungie gave us the shader to the Solar 3.0 armor sets. Lastly, we have Brump proving yet again that the Phoenix Fall ornament is just perfect. It makes everything look good, and the Dawnisinger armor is no exception. And of course, it's on brand because Phoenix and Fire kind of go hand in hand. Okay, so that's going to be the video for today, everybody. If you were to ask me what I would recommend, if you have the money, I would spend the silver on the Titan set. You won't really regret it. As far as using your bright dust on this armor, I would recommend using some of it on the hunter for that helmet, and then maybe on the warlock on those robes. If you have a little bit extra, then you can go for the helmet on the warlock and the legs on the hunter. But of course, that is just my opinion that I have formed from taking a look at different fashion from across the internet now. If you guys have any differing opinions, please leave them in the comments down below. That way you can possibly help someone else make their decision. Go ahead and leave me a like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video and you want to see more like this. Shout out to my Discord server, which provided me with the extra sets. That way I can show them off for you today. And an even bigger shout out to my Patreon members, which help me buy these armor sets so that way I can do reviews for you guys. Thank you again for coming and watching. Go ahead and click on any of the videos popping up in the end card now. And as always, stay beautiful.